Welcome to Paris and to the motor show. And here, coming up, are our show stars. Welcome to the Land Rover stand and to the brand new Discovery. It's only the 5th Discovery in 27 years. Now this is quite possibly the star of the show, especially from a British perspective, but also from a world perspective, because this is a key global car for Land Rover. Let's take a look at it. Let's firstly talk about styling and gone are the days of the old blocky Discovery, because this one's much more rounded. It looks very much like the Discovery Sport and the Range Rover Evoque, and it's designed to be more aerodynamic and sleek. There are a few key design hallmarks from previous Discoveries though. The first of which is here, if you can see it, because it's very slight, is this little step in the roof, very much like the first and second generation Discoveries, and of course the previous generation Discovery as well. And also round the back here, there's a slightly offset number plate. Now, I don't know about you, but I still think this car looks very much like a concept car. What do you think? Well, just let us know in the comment section further down. Now, while we're at the back, let's just talk about the boot room. If I can actually get in, there we go. Electric tailgate, of course. Now, we're in full 7-seater mode here, so there isn't that much boot room, but folding the rear seats down is very straightforward. Takes around 12 seconds to actually fold. And once they're down, you can see that you've got a very usable boot indeed. With the new Discovery, Land Rover haven't forgotten the fact that families are going to be buying it, so it comes with 7 seats. And Land Rover say the 2 rearmost seats fit 95% of adults. Now we're going to try that out. It's not particularly graceful, I already apologise, but let's try it anyway. Now we've already slid that seat forwards. Ooh! And here we are. And there's a good amount of space back here. Good amount of headroom. It feels quite light and airy. If I just slide myself over, good amount of knee room too. Admittedly, that seat is slid quite far forwards. But yeah, if you're carrying adults back here, you're gonna have to slide that forwards anyway. Overall, it's really quite spacious back here. This is a better visual demonstration of the amount of space you've got on offer with the new Discovery. Now, if you fold down the middle and the back seats, you've got over 2,400 litres on offer, so it's absolutely massive. Another cool feature with the Discovery is the active wristband. Now, it means that if you're at the beach or you're doing some sort of water activity, you can leave the car keys in the car and use the wristband to lock and unlock the car, meaning that you don't ever have to have the fear of losing your car keys. The Discovery also comes with In Control. Now, Jaguars and Land Rovers have had it for the past couple of years, but the Discovery gets another cool feature. It allows you to, from your phone, to fold the rear seats down. So if you know you're going to be carrying a heavy load and you don't want to have to push the seats down yourself, you can tell the car to do it for you. Now, with the new Discovery, Land Rover haven't forgotten the fact that you need to go off-road in it. So the wading depth is 900mm, up 200mm on the old car, and there's a plethora of off-road driving modes. Engine-wise, there's a 2-litre 4-cylinder diesel, a 3-litre TD V6 diesel, and a 3-litre V6 supercharged petrol. Deliveries start in the spring. While Land Rover was launching a conventional family off-roader, Mercedes revealed the Generation EQ. The coupe SUV is powered by 2 electric motors, giving 4-wheel drive, up to 420 brake horsepower and a range of 310 miles. While it's a concept, the brand new scalable platform is ready to go and will underpin a range of all-electric Mercedes models in the near future. Skoda has used the Paris Motor Show to reveal the Kodiak. Now, we first saw this car back in Geneva in March earlier this year, but that was just a concept car. This is the full production version. Now, when it arrives later this year, you'll be able to choose from 2 2-litre diesels, 2 1.4 turbo petrols, and a high-performance 2-litre diesel. There's even muted a hot VRS version. Now, you'll be able to choose from Green Line, SE, Laurent and Clermont lines, Sport line as well. There's going to be a plethora of specs, colours and options to choose from. It'll be arriving later this year, priced from around £23,000. This is the Volkswagen ID, and it's a tremendously important car for for the German brand. Why? Well, it's their first sign that they're putting behind the pretty tortuous past 12 months with Dieselgate, and they're moving towards the future. And it's an all-electric future, because this is totally powered by electricity. Now, the total range of this car is around 250 miles to 370 miles, and it's going to arrive in 2020. It's going to sit alongside the Golf, and in terms of proportions, it's equivalent to the Golf hatchback. This car is also going to have an interesting development by the year 2025, because it's going to be fully autonomous. Can you see those blue little circles on the roof? Well, they pop up and act as cameras to scan the road. This car is also very important because it's going to allow Volkswagen to hit a claimed EV sales target of 1 million cars by 2020. Kia used Paris to reveal its new Rio. While not massively different from the old car, it's a mature design that has sharper details and smoother surfaces. The Ford Fiesta has been benchmarked for driver fun and the VW Polo for comfort, so it sounds pretty tempting. It'll be powered by a 1-litre 3-cylinder turbo and 1.25 and 1.4 naturally aspirated petrols and a 1.4-litre diesel. Prices kick off at 11 grand when it arrives early next year. Do you remember the old Citroen C3? Well, you probably won't, because this one definitely confines the old one to the history books, because my word, doesn't it look fantastic? Now, one of the reasons why it looks so fantastic is Citroen is using its air bumps technology, so there's a strip of those impact-absorbing plastic panels across the bottom. There's various different colour combinations you can choose from. Inside, it's minimalist. There's just a 7-inch touchscreen in the middle of the dash, which controls most of the car's functions. And the whole car just really embodies those French values of individuality and quirkiness, and it's just lovely. Now, it uses the Peugeot 208 platform. There's a 300-litre boot on offer, which is pretty large for the class. Under the bonnet, there's 3 1.2 turbo petrols and 2 1.6 diesels. Prices should start from around £11,000. Back in the 1990s, if you thought of a Super Mini, chances are you thought of the Nissan Micra. But in recent years, that really hasn't been the case because it's sort of faded away to become an also-ran. But this new 5th generation car aims to rectify that because it debuts a bold new style. If you look at it, it looks really daring, aggressive, and also quite cutesy at the same time. It's also very large inside. It's got one of the largest cabins in the class. It's also got a huge amount of safety kit. There's autonomous emergency braking with pedestrian detection. It's a first for a Nissan in Europe. It's also got quite a large boot for the class too. Under the bonnet, there's a choice of a 0.9-litre turbo petrol engine out of the Renault Clio, and also there's a 1.5-litre diesel, and that's taken from the Clio as well. Nissan's tuning division, Nismo, hasn't ruled out its involvement either, so there could even be a hot Micra on the way. Peugeot is using its home show to show off 2 brand new SUVs, the first of which is a 3008, and it's the smallest SUV in their range, and it looks really very good indeed. Now, it's designed to be far more bold and SUV-like and rugged. But the chief difference of this car is to be found in the interior because it debuts Peugeot's new iCockpit. Now, there's a 12.3-inch screen behind the dials, which can be fully configurable, and there's an 8-inch screen in the centre of the dash. And it's totally new for Peugeot. It's slick, it's modern, and it looks very, very daring. Under the bonnet is going to be a choice of a 1.2 petrol and a 1.6 petrol. There's also going to be 2 1.6 diesels and 2 2-litre diesels. There's also going to be a plug-in hybrid debuting in 2019. Prices start from around £20,000 and it goes on sale next month. Speaking of that second SUV, here it is. It's the 5008. Before now, the 5008 name has been used on the MPV, but now, because they're fashionable, the name has been glued onto an SUV. There's similar styling to the 3008, and inside there's the same iCockpit. But there's 7 seats, and the middle row can be folded into the floor or be removed altogether if you're strong enough. It's powered by 1.2 and 1.6 petrols and 1.6 and 2-litre diesels. If you thought BMW didn't need any more SUVs in its range, then BMW are ignoring you because this is the X2 concept. Now, it doesn't take a brain surgeon to work out that this fits between the X1 crossover and the X3 SUV. And it's designed to be more of a sports car, more of a coupe SUV, much like the X4 and the X6. Now BMW are making great claims about this being a sports car, but with a raised ride height. They point out the Hofmeister kink, traditional BMW design cue, and the roundel that's on the C-pillar, just like the CSL of the 1970s. But I don't know, it doesn't really look much like a coupe to me, like the X4 or the X6. It looks much like an X1 or a 1 Series that's pumped up a little bit, much like a hatchback. Now, despite the bold style of this car, it does preview the full production car that's coming in 2018. Although don't expect those wheels, that rear diffuser and those big lights and big grills at the front. It's going to be far more of a muted affair. But BMW being BMW, it's definitely going to be a bold thing.
Meanwhile, Mini was showing off its new John Cooper Works Clubman. Under the bonnet is the same 228 brake horsepower 2-litre turbo petrol as in the JCW hatch, but here there's 4-wheel drive, which can send the power to the rear wheels in a fraction of a second. It has all the JCW trinkets and styling add-ons, and prices kick off at just under £29.5 grand for the manual, while the auto adds another £1,600 onto the sticker price.
This is our first glimpse of the next Honda Civic Type R. Now, don't read too much into the aluminium paint finish because that's purely for this concept car, but do pay attention to the design details. So there's the carbon fibre splitter, red-edged of course, the red-edged 20-inch alloy wheels, the massive arches, the enormous spoiler at the back, and not one, not two, but 3 exhaust tailpipes. This is one mean looking car. Now, we're not entirely sure what's under the bonnet, but we do know that it's probably going to be front wheel drive, and that's largely because Honda wants to try and reclaim the Nürburgring front wheel drive lap record. And with the car looking that good, I think they've got every chance of it. It's going to be launching next year at around the same time as the standard Honda Civic, and I know which car I prefer. If you thought the Porsche 911 was evolutionary, wait until you see this. This is the new Audi Q5, and apart from the Audi Q7 inspired front end and a few creases down the side, it's almost identical to the old car. Now, Audi says the main changes lie underneath. It's based on the Audi A4, and depending upon model, they're around 100 kilograms lighter than the old car. Inside there's the same Audi build quality that's almost bulletproof, and there's features like Audi Virtual Cockpit. Under the bonnet there's a choice of 2-litre, 3-litre petrol and diesel engines. There's also going to be SQ5 and RSQ5 high performance models. It should be going on sale later this year from around £33,000. Let me know what you think of it, because stylistically I have to say I'm a bit disappointed.
The Q5 now boasts a new sporty cousin. The A5 Sportback was also revealed, and it's a more practical version of the A5 Coupe. 2 extra rear doors and a hatchback opening up to reveal a 480-litre boot are the chief changes, and it's powered by a range of 2-litre and 3-litre petrols and diesels. This S5 has a 3-litre twin-turbo V6 under its bonnet, which is good for 350 brake horsepower. The A5 Sportback range should start from around £31,700. And finally, there was also the Audi RS3 Saloon. It's essentially an RS3 Sportback with the back lopped off and a boot glued on, and the transformation works really well. It uses the same 394 brake horsepower 5-cylinder engine as the recently launched Audi TT RS. So not only is it 33 brake horsepower more than the outgoing RS3 Sportback, it'll outgun its closest rival, the Mercedes-AMG CLA 45. Expect prices to be at the thick end of £44,000.